2 weeks before their Series A funding was supposed to close, a 45% SaaS startup got an email from the lead investor's technical advisor. 3 questions, that's all it was. Just 3 security questions that seemed straightforward. The founder called me in a panic. They had been honest in their answers. No, they didn't have SOC 2 yet. They didn't have a formal incident response plan. And no, they couldn't provide security audit logs going back 6 months as well. 24 hours later, the investor reduced their valuation by $800,000 and added security milestones as closing conditions. The deal didn't die, but it got significantly worse because of how they answered. Here's what nobody tells you. Investors expect early stage startups to have security gaps. According to a 2024 Sprinto analysis, companies with no certifications may need 6 to 12 months to reach compliance readiness, and investors know this. What kills the valuation isn't the gaps themselves. It's answering these questions like you're making excuses instead of demonstrating you have a plan. Today, I'm breaking down the 3 questions that appear in almost every series funding due diligence process based on analyzing investor requirements from over 50 technical due diligence reports. More importantly, I'm showing you how to answer them honestly, acknowledging your current state while proving your investment ready. Because the difference between an $800,000 valuation haircut and a clean close is how you frame what you're building. See you there. This is the pattern I see in every security due diligence process. Investors don't hire technical advisors to find startups with perfect security. They hire them to identify startups that don't understand their own risk. The 3 questions show up in different forms, but they are fundamentally assessing the same thing. Does this leadership team take security seriously enough to scale? Question 1. Do you have SOC 2 or ISO 27001 certification? This is the gatekeeper question. According to 2024 survey, 70% of venture capitalists prefer investing in SOC 2 compliant startups. But here's what most founders miss. When you're pre-series A with 30 to 50 people, investors don't actually expect you to have completed SOC 2 yet. What they are really asking is, do you have a credible path to enterprise readiness? A no without context tanks your valuation. A not yet, but here's our roadmap opens the conversation. A Cloud Security Alliance Star Registry research shows that startups often get a pass in year 1 if they can demonstrate they are working towards compliance. The key word is demonstrate and not promise. Demonstrate. Question 2. Can you walk me through your incident response plan? This isn't about having a 50-page document. According to 26 Lights 2025 Technical Due Diligence Guide, investors expect documented incident response procedures even if they are simple. What kills the deal isn't non-availability of a formal plan, but what kills the deal is when the founders say they haven't thought about it yet, or even worse, if they say the CTO handles that. Technical advisors look for 3 things: detection mechanisms, escalation procedures, and communication protocols. If you can describe those 3 elements, even informally, you're 80% of the way there. Question number 3. What's your security roadmap for the next 12 months? This is where valuations get protected or destroyed. Investors from CyberStarts to DAG Ventures have told the same thing. They want to see founders who understand security is a journey and not a destination. The World Economic Forum's 2024 report on VC due diligence emphasized that investors increasingly make security a key investment criterion, not because they expect perfection, but because they want to see intentionality. When you answer these questions, we'll figure it out after we close the funding, what investors hear is, we will have a breach within 18 months and it will be expensive. So how do you actually answer these questions without either lying or tanking your valuation? For question 1, certifications, the roadmap answer, you don't say you don't have a SOC 2 yet, but you're planning to get it. You can say you are currently implementing SOC 2 controls and have registered with the Cloud Security Alliance Star Level 1 self-assessment to demonstrate your security posture. And you can also add over that you have budgeted, say, X amount of dollars, say for example $15,000 for your SOC Type 1 audit in Q2, and expect Type 2 completion 6 months after funding closes. Along with it, you can also say you're working with compliance tools like Vanta or Sprinto if you have one to automate evidence collection. Why this works? Well, according to SecureLeap's 2025 framework, SOC 2 Type 1 takes 60 to 90 days with proper preparation and costs at least a minimum of $5,000 to $10,000. You're giving specific timelines here, showing you have budgeted for it and demonstrating you understand the process. Alternatively, if you have zero budget, you can say that you have mapped your current security controls to SOC 2 requirements using the AICPA Trust Service Criteria framework. And you are currently at 60% coverage, with the primary gaps being formal policy documentation and automated logging. With your compliance timeline, which is tied to this funding round, with type 1 targeted for 90 days post close. For question 2, incident response, the framework answer: don't say that you haven't documented any incident response plan yet. You can say you have a 3-tier incident response framework. Tier 1, automated alerts, which goes to your on-call engineer via pager duty or some other paging tools. Tier 2 is security events trigger, which triggers to your CTO with a 30-minute SLA. And Tier 3, incidents involving customer data breach, activates your notification protocol to affected customers within 72 hours. And you can also say that you are currently formalizing this into your security documentation as part of your SOC 2 preparation. Why this works? Well, you've just described detection, escalation, and communication. The 3 things investors want to hear. You acknowledged it's not fully documented yet, but you demonstrated it exists and is operational. For question 3, roadmap, the milestones answer: don't say that you're gonna be hiring a security person when you can afford it or something like that. You can say your 12-month security roadmap has 3 phases. Phase 1, which is months 1 to 3, is complete SOC 2 type 1, implement automated security monitoring, and formalize incident response documentation. The phase 2 would be months 4 to 8, which achieves SOC 2 type 2 certification, hire fractional CISO, conduct third-party penetration tests. And phase 3 is month 9 to 12, implementing continuous compliance monitoring and begin ISO 27001 preparation for international expansion. You can also say any total investment budget if you have, like say $40,000 in the year 1. Why this works? You've shown you understand security is phased. You've prioritized based on compliance requirements, and you have given realistic budget numbers that investors can evaluate. Here's the reality. Security due diligence isn't about catching you doing something wrong. It's about understanding whether you're building a company that can handle enterprise customers and survive in a regulated environment. The startups that protect their valuations during due diligence aren't the one with perfect security. They're the ones who can articulate their current state, the gaps, and their path forward with specificity. Vague answers destroy trust. Specific roadmaps build it. I write deep dive analysis on fundraising, due diligence preparation, and how to position technical maturity to investors on my Substack newsletters. Please find the link below. And if you're prepping for funding and want to understand what investors are actually evaluating beyond your pitch deck, that's where I break down the patterns I see across dozens of due diligence processes. If you find this video insightful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Question isn't whether you have gaps, it's whether you know how to close them.